Uh, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy EdgeTenebris, and I'm here with my boy Trey Royal. We here to talk about Rumbleverse actually shutting down because I actually used to play that game mad heavy, and I think it's part of a bigger discussion that needs to be had. It's a live service game, as you know. A lot of games are actually live service. So, like this right here, like when I'm playing DKL right here, it's live service. The same thing could happen to this. Eventually at some point. But Rumbleverse has only been out for it. By the time it closes, it's going to close next month on February 28th. And they're
This
going
month is
to.
the first today now,
Oh
so
yeah, it's February, so they actually gonna shut it down in like 27 days, bro. And like the game isn't even a year old yet. Can you believe that? Yo, what up, Sai? We actually doing a discussion about that little chat we had last time about Rumbleverse. Yeah, Rumbleverse actually is shutting down on the 28th of
got
this month.
confirmed last night.
They confirmed it last night. They didn't say why, but we can all guess that it's due to the player base deteriorating. Yeah, it's official. Yep, they're actually shutting it down. Now, what's your take on it, Trey? What you think?
Like I said, this is part of the reason why I can't be in support of live service games like that anymore, bro. Like it's a lot coming. I know PlayStation is working on like several different ones themselves. I'm pretty sure Xbox has some in the tuck somewhere in there for future releases. But yeah, it's like the game, like you said, hasn't even been out for a full year, and I think it's crazy that a game that people play on a daily can pretty much just be taken away from them. All the hours they spent in the game, the money that they may have possibly spent in the game, since most live service games have things like battle pass or cosmetics and things you can buy. And I think to just be able to just take that away is crazy. Now I get that is in like the terms of service that you agree to before you play, but nobody would usually think that the game would end this soon, you know, way before its time. So I think that's I think something within that has to change.
Exactly. And see, another game that's shutting down this month. I don't know if we got any Crash Bandicoot fans out there, but I'm a huge fan of Crash Bandicoot, and Crash on the Run is shutting down this month. No refunds on whatever you spent, in the store to get it. Now, here's the good thing, though. This is the good thing, though. Rumbleverse said that people will. I think they said they may be eligible or they will be eligible to get refunds on the things they spent. So you best believe I'm gonna be looking into that because I do want my money back if the game is shutting down and it's only been out for like 6 months. That's crazy. A game that didn't even last a year, man. And it's a battle royale too. You would think it'd have more life.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like Avengers. You know, Avengers is a partial story based and live service game. Now it's supposed to sunset what, the end of this year or something? I can't remember exactly when. So don't quote me on that per se, but I know it's this year. I know they said that they will keep the service open for the foreseeable future and that all the cosmetics pretty much from here on out will at some point will be free. So you can just download the cosmetics to your account and still play with your friends and do the raids until whenever, I think Embracer Group has the Crystal Dynamics now. Decides to shut it down. Decided to shut the server down completely. But yeah, there will be no new content coming to that game. And it's unfortunate because I do think Avengers is a pretty decent game. My biggest issue with that game is that they didn't release enough content over the span of like going on 3 years now, actually.
Right, like when Avengers first came out, it gave you that story driven vibe because when you first start off with Miss Marvel, you do all this stuff and this, that, and the other, and it feels like it's an adventure game. But then it turns into this, select a level, beat up robots, clear this objective, win the map. Like that became the pretty much the basis of what they did. You know, yeah, we got new characters, but like I feel like it took too long. But that might have been because of the pandemic. You know, these things do happen. People can't work, you know, synchronized in the office and things like that.
Right.
It's very possible that that did contribute to it. And it, like you said, it's a shame because, you know, they were promising some more characters. Who were we supposed to get? We were supposed to get Strange, Doctor Strange, right? Like
Doctor
She-Hulk.
Strange, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk. Um, yeah, a bunch of other characters that are supposed to come in the game. So the last one is going to be canceled, unfortunately. And from what I'm saying, I haven't got a chance back to Jam, but he's pretty good from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, they said Winter Soldier got some. He got some crazy ranged attacks and like just how much
Yeah.
damage he outputs. I heard it's pretty crazy.
Like you said, the problem is publishers assume it'll live on its own because the fans buy games like that. Oh, women. Because they think it live on its own because of the fans, but games like that aren't self-sustaining. Yeah, it's great.
Without content, no, it is not self-sustaining.
Yeah.
People will want more characters, new maps, things to do.
Yeah, especially if you plan to have this live service game, and most live service games have like, or usually they're planned for like a 10-year life show. You know, like Halo Infinite is, I think, is on that border. Well, it's not necessarily a live service game, but with the stuff that's going on at Microsoft and 343 studios, that 10-year plan seemed like it's going to be on the shelf. I don't know what's going to happen. Apparently there's supposed to be a battle royale plan and some other content for the game, but now that they've had a bunch of layoffs and a bunch of more people, they ended up getting fired from 343 Studios, and then they're also saying that they're redirecting them to other projects now. I don't know what's going to happen to Halo.
And see, like a big company like Bungie, you would think they would have this under control, but it seems to be falling right into the same, you know, space that all these other games are. And you know, another thing.
And that's the thing, because Bungie doesn't even own Halo. Microsoft owns it, but Bungie developed it. But once Bungie left Microsoft, Microsoft had 343 Studios take over the development of the Halo franchise. And since they've gotten it, it hasn't really been in the best shape. But I do think this new one is pretty good, but with what's going on, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with the game, man. Whatever plans they had, I don't even know if they're going to try to see that stuff through. Because it took them a year just to even put co-op and other things into that game for like story mode.
Yep. Liz said, don't even get her started on Bungie. That's a whole nother can of worms, but let me bring it back to Rumbleverse for a second. Rumbleverse was, as you guys know, was made by Iron Galaxy, which, you know, created. They didn't create it. They picked up Killer Instinct around season 2, because Double Helix created Killer Instinct season 1, and then around season 2, Iron Galaxy stepped in to give us the rest of the characters and so on and so forth with the content. Now, I don't know how deep y'all are into Killer Instinct, but I've seen people complain about the same exact thing that may be the downfall of Rumbleverse. Now, I don't know if it's an Iron Galaxy thing or if the game just wasn't marketed well enough, but I know for Killer Instinct, people were complaining for a while, hey, where's more content? Where's more characters? You know, I'm pretty sure Microsoft had something to do with the lack of that, because, you know, I heard they didn't put too much money into Killer Instinct to begin with, and you can tell they didn't. But
yeah, because you know, around the Xbox One release time, Microsoft was kind of beefing with the Halo division anyway.
Oh.
Microsoft was beefing with the Xbox division anyway, so it's like they wanted to actually stop making Xbox. And yeah, as you see, you have to see what happened. Like 10 years, not much content on the Xbox. And they still in the drought even now with a lot of the content. First party games and all that stuff.
Yeah, Liz got it right. Killer Instinct, for years, people were crying begging for a Killer Instinct, me included. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little mad when it was Xbox only, but I get it. You know, I get it. Had a PlayStation at the time, and I didn't want to
They
buy
needed
Xbox
something
for
to
one
compete with
game.
Street Fighter.
Right, right. This was supposed to be their, their answer, their flagship fighting game. Say, hey, look, we got Killer Instinct, guys. That's the reason to get the Xbox. And when it first came out, reception was mixed with the FGC. It was mixed. Like some people was like, "Yo, let's go," and other people was like, I don't know, I don't like it. The animation looked kind of clunky. I don't know. But that's like with every new fighting game. You're always gonna have people who be like, and you're gonna have people like, yeah, that's just how it's just gonna go. But I know Iron Galaxy definitely has a background in fighting games, and they made that in mind with Rumbleverse. Like when Rumbleverse came out, a lot of fighting games, a lot of fighting game streamers was actually on that game, playing for hours on end, saying this is the best game, like this is mad fun, and like. Think of it, it's like a fighting battle royale. Like not everybody had a chance to experience that yet, because some people don't got a PC or an Xbox to play Naraka Blade Point. In Hunter's Arena, that game shut down. You can't play on that no more. So, it started out strong. Rumbleverse actually started out pretty good. Had a lot of people that was streaming it, and like Lizzie said, some of the people from the KI FGC, some of them people, they hopped on the train too. They was like, "Yo, this game is mad fun. Like, I feel like I could play this. I feel like I could play this forever." But like.
Right.
As time went on, I kept playing Rumbleverse for a good while, but I saw the numbers start to dip lower, and like you would notice there's more bots in the match. Like today, I'm estimating, but I guarantee you, it's at least at least 10 people. 10 characters in the match that are bots, and it's 40 people in the match. Like think about it, like Fortnite, you got whole lobbies where it's like probably 97 players, 2 bots. But now if you go play Rumbleverse, you're probably going to run into a lot of bots in that game, and they've been tweaking the bots to like be better AIs, but you can tell when you're fighting a bot because they'll just fall for any setup you do pretty much. And it's just, I don't know, like a lot of changes they made with Rumbleverse, not to get too much into it, I don't agree with, but like you said, they took too much time. The game's been out, people were wanting more. There are a lot of things you could abuse in season 1, like the jump air dodge, not having any ending lag. You could keep doing it. Then, the last circle would come down to people who just made the first mistake. And, it's like really high stress stuff where people just exploiting stuff over and over again. So, I guess it was a lack of player base because they had marketing. They did streams. They promoted on their social media. They have a Twitter account for it. I don't know if it ever popped up on commercials on television. I don't know because I don't really watch TV like that anymore. But it looks like they had things going good for a while, but it just seems to fizzle out. And not even a year later, we are shutting down Rumbleverse. Like,
And it's like that's part of what got me annoyed about Naraka or Xbox swooping in last minute and getting an exclusive deal on Naraka, because I know originally when they showed Naraka, at least running on console, they were showing it running on PlayStation 5, but then it got released on Xbox last June, and the community or the fans who've been wanting to play Naraka who may not have an Xbox or have PC, they've been asking when is it going to come to PlayStation, and the Naraka page, like Twitter page and stuff, has been really tight-lipped. They would say, coming soon with, no actual date or time frame. And people are getting fed up, pretty much.
I don't blame them.
And it's like, I'm pretty sure the deal is for a year, so we probably won't see it on PlayStation for at least another 4 months, 4 or 5 months from now.
And by then, like, interest is probably exhausted out, right? Like it released Naraka Blade Point, for those of you who don't know, is like a weapon based battle royal. It came out like a while ago. I'm not sure how long ago it's been out, but it came to PC first, right?
Like a year and almost 2 years.
and it's been on PC first, right?
Yeah, it was on PC first.
Right. It was on PC first, and then it came to Xbox, like Trey said, around June. And us PlayStation players just hasn't had a chance to experience it yet. And by then, by the time it come out for PlayStation, um, interest is probably already gone. Like people probably moved on to better things, or probably don't even want to play it anymore.
And I feel like the player base will be. I mean, from what, because I have the Xbox, so I've been playing it from time to time. I don't want to play it too much because I want to see if there's going to be any type of cross progression once it comes to PlayStation.
Right.
Um, but the player base seems solid. But I'm pretty sure if they get those PlayStation numbers, it'll be much more sustainable than what it is now. Because you know how I was looking at the PC numbers a while ago. Like they've been having ups and downs. Like they've had like crazy dips, and then they'll have like really big game backs when they drop some new content or something, and then they'll drop again. Couple thousand players.
Yep, and Naraka, like Lizzie said, gets no type of marketing. I don't see outside of Twitch, and you know and that's being generous. You barely see anything about Naraka.
Yeah, outside of Twitch and their own Twitter page, that's the only places you're going to see anything for it.
And it's like, and see, it like we said, this speaks to a bigger problem within game developers today in their business models, because all these games are shutting down. You know, don't even get us started on the Suicide Squad picture that we saw. Like a single place, like we got the idea that it was going to be a single player driven game, kind of like Arkham, but you just switch between characters, right? Like at least that's the vibe I got. I did not think
some form of just multiplayer, you know.
Right, with some co-op multiplayer. Right, if you wanted to do multiplayer, you could, but if you like, kind of like Gotham Knights a little bit, right? Like if you want to do co-op, you can, but if you want to do solo dolo, you can. But no, apparently there's going to be gear, just like Avengers. There's a battle pass for a single player game. A battle pass. That's insane. And like, I don't know, man. I just don't think this business model is sustainable, because we got all these people, I mean, all these developers closing down all these games. They can't afford to keep the servers up, or the player base is shrinking. You know, it seems to be like a wheel that keeps turning around and arriving at the same destination. Like if they see it's not working, shouldn't this be a sign that, hey, we need to do something different, guys? Like this isn't working.
Like I said, with there being more live service games coming at some point, it doesn't sit well with me knowing that that's the focus in development right now.
It's a cash grab. Remember when mobile games first started becoming real popular, and they had the microtransactions on them joints to keep playing or level up your character faster? Oh yeah, they're gonna cash in on that 100%. They're gonna get that money.
I think in the long run though, it's like you said, it's not sustainable, because if you're gonna have so many live service games, like you already have a lot now. But like I said, we know that Sony has several in development currently right now. That's their whole plan for, like, I think within the next 5 years it will drop like several different live service games. And like I said, I'm pretty sure Xbox has it, because you already have like Pokemon Unite, you got Naraka Blade, you got EKO, you got Smite, you got Overwatch, you got like you said, Avengers, you got Suicide Squad is coming out, you got what else? Matter of fact, we got Fortnite. It's a lot. Like I said, that's off of that. That was probably what, about 10 games.
Yep.
You got Destruction All Stars. You got Rocket League. You got Fall Guys. And it's like at any point, any of these games, you know, if whatever may happen, if people stop buying stuff out of the game store, or the player base dips too much, then it's like, then the game could just cease to exist, and like you could never play it again. And that's the part that bothers me, is like you could just never play this game again. Like
think about that. All that money you put into the game, cosmetics, stuff you can get, like, or Crash, you know, all the money you put into those crystals to develop your weapons and things, buying all these skins, you know, like, it's like a punch in the gut, and like I don't even want to play Crash anymore because I know they're shutting it down. I don't even want to play it no more because it's just demotivating. Nobody wants like why play if it's gonna be gone. And
Yeah.
another thing to think of, I ain't bring this up, is it's the genre, right? Think about the genre game. Fighting games are big, but they're nowhere near as big as
As a Call of
like
Duty.
I call it shooters or PC shooters. Fighting games are nowhere near that level of popularity. So Rumbleverse and Naraka, oh well, Naraka wasn't marketed as like a fighting game, in-depth, super deep fighting game. It wasn't made by a fighting game developer, as far as I know. But Rumbleverse was, like I said, fighting games. We're our own little corner. We're not as popular as shooters or Fortnite or Call of Duty. So that could be another reason why, possibly, because Rumbleverse was pretty accessible. They told you what to do. They gave you tutorials. The game was simple enough to pick up, but deep enough to make you keep playing and figure out, okay, what does what? I can do this. I can do that. But it's marketed as a fighting game, and you know, people are more so based into shooting games or things like League of Legends, Smite, things like that. So that's also something Rumbleverse also had against it, in my opinion, at least. But 6 months of a game living and it's gone, that's just unacceptable, man. There's no way, man. And I think this is like a bad omen. Like this is for the future of games. It's like a bad omen because is this what we're gonna turn into? How the fuck did that grab me? Is that what we're gonna be dealing with? A game comes out, they prop it up, market it. Oh look, here's all these shiny things you can buy if you put money into it, and then all of a sudden, like 8 months later, oh yeah, we're shutting down. Like what?
Yeah, this really unfortunate. Like, this is the reason why I personally buy disc-based games, so I can be able to still play the game even if something, happens where it closes. Now, this kind of brings me to two games. Paragon, Paragon was a MOBA that ended up shutting down a while ago. It's back in redevelopment from another group, which I think is a really great thing. That's a really cool thing. I'm glad that that's happening. But I did end up later buying this because I was like, I never thought the game was going to come back, and I was like, maybe, it's just something to keep in memory of the game for me. But then I also want to talk about like how Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is being sold in stores on a disc, but they saying that the game isn't even on the disc.
What? The game's not on the disc.
It's not on the disc.
So what's on the disc?
Like some form of data, I guess, to download, technically to download the game, but the game itself is not on the disc.
That's crazy,
what
bro.
So you go to the store to buy pretty much what is almost a $70 paperweight, and you can just buy it digitally and download it.
Yo, if developers start doing that, like you make the disc, but the disc just has data for like the game to run or something, bro. Games as a service.
No, so this pretty much more or less downloaded out of the store, out of the whatever game store. Like pretty much think of it almost in the sense of like a voucher. Like the disc is a voucher for you to download the game from out the store, which you could have just did anyway without going to the store.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's that I really had a side eye of that because I was like, they letting people get away with that. I'm surprised it's not a class action lawsuit.
Oh, Lizzie, we were talking. Trey was talking about how one of the Call of Duty games with Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, the newest one, Modern Warfare 2.
It does it like if the disc is pretty much a paperweight. If you buy the disc version, because what you say was on it, Trey, it's just like data.
The game isn't on the disc. It's just like data to download the game from like out of the store. So almost think of it like getting a voucher for them to just take you to the PlayStation or Xbox store and have you download the game from there.
Right, like, which is ridiculous because if you buy the disc, you're thinking the game's actually on the disc. That's how they get you, though, right? Like what we're going towards. That's how. So even if you do get the game by disc, if you still get the disc, if the game goes down, you got a paperweight. You got something that pretty much means nothing now.
Shit, that's like I said. It seems like that's where the game is trying to go because you got, like I said, they got multiple outsourced games in development. Also, cloud gaming is trying to be a thing. Like they're really pushing that for this console generation. There's something that they was trying to do with the PS4 and the Xbox One, but I guess they met some limitations to where they couldn't actually develop it how they want. But this console generation, since they're way more closer than PCs than they ever been, it seems that they're able to do it on this one. And I know that's something that both companies are planning to knock themselves. And even technically, to some degree, Nintendo does it with the Switch.
God. But yeah, I mean, that just seems to be what we're moving towards now with this whole thing. Like, a lot of games are shutting down that I never would have thought would be shutting down that early, especially Rumbleverse. I would thought it would at least have at least a year and a half or 2 years in it, you know?
Oh yeah, OG Scott Pilgrim, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the re-release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and the biggest thing that really taught it for me was actually Marvel Heroes Omega. I don't know if anybody remembers that game. Marvel Heroes Omega was a live service Marvel game, kind of in the vein of what's the game? Oh my god. Think of it like Marvel Alliance or like X-Men Legends, and you swap out between all different Marvel characters from the Marvel universe you could play on. It was like Marvel's version of DCUO, except you couldn't make your own character per se. It's like that was a game for like a couple months, and then they ended up losing the rights or whatever for the game, so they had to shut it down. And it was crazy because like around the time it had shut down, I had just bought Daredevil to play as. And I was going to buy Black Panther, because you know, Black Panther and Daredevil were like two of my favorite Marvel heroes. And yeah, you just never able to play the game again. Never.
Damn. Now, see, Lizzie brought up a good point, though. Why are games like DCOU still alive, you know? Like, what makes it so much different? It's online all the time, right? Like, when you play DCO, it connects to a server right away.
I think one reason why a game like DCO has lasted so long, because think about it, DCO has been out for over a decade, like at least I think like 11 years now.
Wow.
Maybe 12 years. But DCO, when it originally started, it wasn't necessarily a free-to-play game. You had to buy it. And it had a subscription model. It's kind of like Final Fantasy 14 of the superhero games. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had a subscription model, you had to pay to get online. Then they made it a free-to-play because a lot of people weren't buying it and paying for the subscription. So now it's like you kind of got that balance of the free players who come in and just play when they want, and then you got the people who are paying for whatever extra perks they get on subscription. So that's partially why I think the DCUO game lasts so long. On top of this DC universe having, or DC fans having, a game where they can play with all their favorite DC characters in one spot and create their own superhero. Like, I think that was a big appeal, so you got more people to do that. But
yeah,
also, it was one of the very few technical live service games at the time. There weren't that many, but now it just seems like they're everywhere.
It's oversaturated, and like I guess people are just getting tired of it, you know? Like, it's the same thing over and over and over again, and then you shut it down. You know, like games like Final Fantasy 14, DC Online, like these games are still going. They clearly got something these other ones don't. And player base, I think player base is one of the most important ones. I don't think Rumbleverse developers will admit it, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the biggest reasons why they're shutting down. It's not people are not playing the game for whatever, for one reason or the other. They're not playing the game. Now, with Iron Galaxy with Killer Instinct is still alive, still going. You know, it's still got a pretty healthy player base, much shorter than it used to be. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how deep people are into Iron Galaxy and how the studio, but I know from keeping a close watch on Killer Instinct and how they developed it, there are a lot of things players didn't agree with when they made changes or patches to the game. It caused quite a rift in the community. Some people say they missed season 1, some people say they missed season 2, some people say season 3 was the best. It's rifts within the community based on how they made changes to the game. And now Rumbleverse, I might be over exaggerating, but I feel like it was much stronger this time because how drastic the changes were, and how long it took for these things to come in, how long it took for them to patch it, how long it took for them to do this, that, and the other. Like, I'm gonna give you an example for those of you who don't play it. There's a perk called Meditate, right? So when you got Meditate, you get perks by beating people up and doing damage. When you get enough points of damage that you inflict to someone, you get a perk. It's random. There's no way to manipulate the RNG to get a certain perk or this, that, or the. No, it's completely random. Now, if you got Meditate, what Meditate does is if you stand still, your character will do a yoga pose and they'll start healing. Now, you could see how, especially in a battle royal game, you could see how strong that could be, especially with a fighting battle royale, because you have to get close to fight. You could go high on this big building, real high on this building, when it's like 5 people left. Say you got like 100 HP left out of 1700. If nobody bothers you, you could stand there and then yo, what the fuck is this glitch? Why did I turn into Hercules? Yo, wait, hold up. Pause on the discussion. Y'all see this shit, right?
Yeah.
Y'all see this shit, right? Why did I turn into Hercules, dude? See this what I'm talking about right here. No, but really, Meditate, you'll basically, if nobody bothers you, you could stay there while everyone else is fighting and heal all 1700% of your health back, and while everybody else is fighting. Now, that could go against you because say you're fighting and it come down to the last 5 people, right? Now, say 3 out of 5 of these people got the Meditate perk, and keep in mind it's random. It's random. It's not, you can't manipulate the game to say, oh, give me this. Now, you're getting hit by some other people while these people are clearly standing off on the sidelines doing the meditation to get their health back. And it just prolongs the match to an extreme degree because everybody's just going to keep meditating when they take damage. And, it just becomes a long, drawn-out match. Now, that was a problem, and they did address it, but, only in season 2, and the jump from season 1 to season 2 was a great time. It took some time for them to update the game from season 1 to 2. Now when you got Meditate, you can still meditate, but it only heals you up to half of your maximum health. So now you just can't stand by and meditate your way back to full health and then try to lame out the match. You can't. But in doing that, they created another issue. There's a perk called Sadistic now. What Sadistic do is when you attack somebody, you get health back. And there's this move called Sumo Slap on there. Now, what they did was, since they eliminated the meditation meta, people can't rely on that no more. Almost everybody in the community, and I'm not even exaggerating, I'm dead ass serious when I say this. they would find the sumo slap move in the match, and they would just spam it because it's extremely hard to punish. You have to make a guess to get the punish on the sumo slap. So now you got people running sumo slap, just spamming it pretty much the entire match, and they're getting healed every time they hit you. And it's not like you could just stand there and block sumo slap, because sumo slap does stamina damage when you block it. And as you know, if you run out of stamina while blocking, you get dizzy. And when you get dizzy, then they're going to hit you with some strong move. So the game had a lot of problems, but I don't know. I feel like the way they addressed it, the way they went about it, caused a rift in the community, and it caused even more people to stop playing. Like how similar to how they did with Killing Instinct. I don't know if this is an Iron Galaxy thing, or like if it's a curse or something, but this would be the second time this happened to him. Right, it's bad balancing, and like I said, it could be. They didn't really say why they're shutting the game down after 6 months, but you can bet that stagnant player base and lowered player base. They're like, what's the point of keeping the servers up if only this amount of people are joining it? So, it's just sad to see, and it's a bad omen for game development, if you ask me. Like, they need to just let go of this whole live service, always online, battle pass type thing. Like, Fortnite did it. They were successful because they were Fortnite, Fortnite came in at a time, and that was their niche. It was different.
It was a different game. It was something different from your usual shooter, and that's what drew such a big crowd of Fortnite, because you can build while you shoot. And for kids, like I said, I think kids really love like developmental type games. That's why games like Roblox and Minecraft and stuff is so popular. Now you talk shooting into that, and you got Fortnite.
Yep, and see, like I don't know if everyone else agrees, but Fortnite was an anomaly, right? And like you could tell, like didn't we say on another discussion that they started pulling support from other games to Fortnite because it was so successful?
Yeah, which is why Paragon shut down. Because remember, Paragon is made by the people who made Fortnite. So when they made Fortnite and it became such a big success, they pulled everybody off of that game and they put them on Fortnite, and whatever they was trying to develop at the time, which made the game shut down, which made Paragon shut down. So.
Now, what this tells me is that, Fortnite struck rich gold, by chance. They didn't know that this was going to be this big old game that everybody was going to be spending so much money and time on, but it did. So that's why Fortnite can do this whole battle pass, cosmetic, constantly updating and all, because they have the money, they have the player base, they have the functionality, they have the fans. Everything just came together for them, and it was just perfect. Like, and it still is. Fortnite still got so many players live to this day.
Still one of the biggest games after what? It's been like 5-6 years, maybe.
That don't make no sense, man. Like they definitely came in at a good time and got in and got out. Like, man, and now all these other games are trying to jump on that, Oh, for real? Epic is in hot water about their purchases? Oh, what's going on? But yeah, this model is not sustainable for those types of games. They just don't have that type of pool.
I think it's too many, and I know it's like all this is a competition, it's a business, but it's like in the long run, I don't think it's a big disservice to the gamers.
Yep. The market is oversaturated with these types of games, and people are going. It's already to a point where people don't want to spend their money on this when it could just shut down potentially.
Too crowded, yeah, and it's like for people like us who are the older set of gamers, you know what I'm saying? It's like A lot of times we play these games because we work during the day. We want to come home, we want to play something, you know. But then it's like now it's to a point you're taking that away from us, and it's like, why should I even be playing this stuff anymore?
Right.
I feel like the old heads before us that probably was like, I don't even play games. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even, like they got to a
It's
certain age
our
like I don't
turn,
play
huh?
games anymore. Now it's
It's
like
our
in a
turn,
weird
huh?
way it's becoming our turn and but under a different circumstance though.
It changed mic settings and it brought about predatory actions. Oh dang. Well shoot.
Mm.
I ain't even know about that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
But like generally though, I mean in general with Fortnite, the way their popularity is, it was sustainable so they could keep, they could keep doing this. Avengers was not sustainable enough to do that. They tried to play on the whole MCU thing. And the
No, I think
MC
they did that too late. I think the
too late.
problem, yeah, the problem with Avengers was pretty much they made promises on things that they didn't keep. They took too long to release content. And now I don't know. That may be for a bunch of different reasons. I don't know if it was development. I don't know if it was approval rights and all that stuff. I don't know exactly what was stopping them from releasing content. But pretty much it just took too long. Like those things took too long, and then it's like they try to lean on the MCU stuff a little bit too late. They probably should have did that earlier once they realized the first gap before. Who was the first? Kate Bishop, right? Kate was the first.
Kate was the first DLC. Yep.
Yeah, Kate was the first DLC character.
Then it was Clint, right?
Yeah, it was Kate and Clint. Then once that happened, they should have leaned in then, but they didn't. They didn't do it till after Black Panther pretty much came in.
And see, that's my
That was
thing,
like
though.
a whole year later.
And that's my thing, though. I think that they shouldn't have led with Kate and Clint. I don't think so. Since they're kind of similar in a way. I know they're different at a deeper level, but I'm thinking like from a casual aspect. They both got bow and arrows. Like, ooh, from a casual standpoint, why buy this? What's the point, right?
Right.
And like you said, they should have did that. I mean, a lot from what I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people were trying to say that they were trying to use the MCU to try to promote it, which is at the time the MCU was going pretty strong.
Which they really didn't, because remember when the original Avengers trailer came out, they tried to strive away from it, and people were upset that they didn't look more like their MCU counterpart.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind, you're right. I remember that too.
People were really upset about that. They were trying to strive away from that. And I think to some degree that did hurt them because, MCU fans are crazy about people. But regardless of that, like it was a good game.
It could use a little more variety types, like how many people, what the villains you fought and bosses.
Oh
but
yeah, like I'm saying, despite like those things, like I think structurally, like with like the character movements and like skill sets and all this stuff, like I think it was the story also was it was a good game, just if you just focus on that. But the content is where the problem came into. Like I said, the enemy types and the levels, all that stuff, the mission types, those things cause the issue in the game itself.
Yep.
Outside of that, it was, I think, a structurally well-built game.
It was just managed poorly, you think?
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't have faith in Crystal Dynamics either, though. I heard a lot of, trash talk against Crystal Dynamics.
That's also another thing.
It just seems like it's a whole bunch of problems, but I think we should wrap. Let me see what Lizzie said that for Fortnite, they were like unauthorized transactions in customer service. They were told, yeah. See, now that's a little bit that's some crazy stuff right there. And I
I
don't,
think it'd be worse.
I don't, I think
Not
that'll
that
hurt
long.
them. I think that will hurt them, but not to the point where they have to shut the game down because it's so popular.
But there was
But
another part before that. Epic basically made it easier for people to hear you in game as well as the company listening in on it too as a means of actually entering that that strategic session with the lawsuit for like over whew, 44 million. I'm pretty sure they made that no problem though, but
yeah, they'll probably make that back, no problem at all.
top price, yeah, public service. Yeah, I can believe that because when I worked at GameStop, I had a couple people that was complaining about that on call. Be like, yeah, I'm like, yo, we have nothing to do with that. Like, we are just a reseller. You got to call these people.
Right, you have to call them because we don't maintain it. We just sell the game. We don't do no troubleshooting. We don't do no refunds, none like that. You're gonna have to contact the studio for that. But yeah, I think we've been at it for almost an hour. I do want to wrap it up, but I think in conclusion, oh shit, what am I doing? I didn't even pay attention. But I think what we could say is that right now the market is oversaturated with these types of games, live service games where there's a battle pass, you spend money on cosmetics, it's always online, and if it ever shuts down, you're gonna lose everything that you had, and you're most likely not gonna get refunded. Like this is not what people want. This is not what people want, bro. Yeah, my team suck. This is not what people want, man. Like some people like takes. I mean, it's not a live action game, but I'm just saying like the genre and how they executed it. Take Spider-Man for example. That game was pretty damn good, right? Like I'm pretty sure the general consensus could say Insomniac knocked it out the park with that game. Like we had Spider-Man, and then how long was it when Miles came out as a as a follow up for it? How long was
like
it?
2 years,
2 years.
2 3 2 3 years, something like that.
Spider-Man came out and the game was good. People, a lot of people streamed it, got a lot of attention. People loved it. The combat is great. The fluidness of the controls is great. It has a nice, simple story. Nothing's too complicated. And there was no added on battle pass or nothing like that. I mean, I get it. The game isn't a live service, but I'm just saying those are the type of games I see people really, critically acclaim. Like, take God of War Part 1, for example, Like,
God of
it's just a
War,
story.
Spider-Man, The Last of Us.
I don't know about Last of Us, though. They kind of milking it.
I mean, but it's still critically acclaimed, both of them. Both of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I'll give them that. But, like, Last of Us is definitely controversial. Part 2 was definitely controversial, but the first
Yeah, part
one,
two is controversial.
was like amazing. It a lot of people loved it. Yeah, people disliked it, but it was more people that liked it than disliked it. Those are the type of games we like. Like too much DLC, too much microtransactions, too much paying for a service, always online. This type of stuff is not a boon; it's a con. Like it's bad because like we said, if the game goes down, that's it. You'll never be able to play it again. Crash go down, I might as well delete it from my phone because it's probably never coming back. Naughty Dog's probably never going to touch it again. Rumbleverse gone. They give out their refunds if they're even going to, because that's a lot of money. You never be able to play it again. It's gone. you know and like I said, games, I really hope that games do not go towards that model where, okay, here's our product, it's live for this long, all right, we shutting it down, for whatever reason, whether they can't cover the server costs or it's not enough people playing. I hope it don't come like even DKO when I'm playing right now. Yeah, it's got a nice player base. I don't know if Smite helped it stay alive with high res and stuff like that, but what if there comes a day where they're like, all right, we shutting down DKO servers for blah, blah, I won't be able to play this anymore. No more. It's gone. That's it. So, in conclusion, I really think that they should really take a close look at the market and see just like how impactful these decisions are. They They tried it with Avengers. They tried it with Gotham Knights. Now Suicide Squad's looking like it's going to do the same thing. You know, I just don't think it's it, man. Like, even playing Gotham Knights, I just feel. I mean, it's fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fun and I like it, but you know, I'm getting burnt out on those types of games. I just don't want to be spending money on stuff like that. You know, like I want to be spending them to buy all this stuff for it. Now, one thing I will get Gotham Knights in the game. You know, you don't have to pay to get the Shinobi suit for Nightwing, for example, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You get it by progressing through the game and playing. That's fine. That's great. Like, if we could keep it like that, you know, I think those types of games would have more success. But, you know, with Avengers, you know, their updates are very slow. They're constantly putting out new cosmetics to make up for the costs of the game. You know, all these legendary and exotic clothes for your characters cost like what, $20 a pop, right? You got to buy credit 15. No, it's 1,500 credits, but I think you got to pay, you know, equivalent somewhere around $20 to get that 1,500 credits to buy it in the store in the game. You know, why am I spending $20 for one outfit for one character? That sounds like a bundle. You know, that should be a bundle, right? Like, you know, yeah, like Lizzie said, Spider-Man made you play the game to get the outfits. They, you know, like there was no get this, you know, like
And
get.
that's why that's also why there's such a backlash with Overwatch right now because like now they make you pay for all these skins, even old skins from from when the game originally came out. They're trying to charge you $20 to get. Nobody wants to do that.
Nah.
Like I get some skins being on sale, that's fine. But there's if your original model was to unlock skins through playing and getting loot boxes or whatever. I need to pretty much try to revise the system since loot boxes are technically illegal in most places now, and revise that system because now that gives players an incentive to keep playing the game.
Right. Just like Lizzie said, right there. What happened to the idea of playing the game and unlocking stuff by putting time into it? And you know, it's another thing, especially if these games are pay to win. You know, a lot of mobile games, for example. But you know, some of these could be also translate to newer games that come out. You know, you pay to win. You put money into the game, then you get all these strong characters or strong equipment, this, that, and the other. Then you go against other players, and you're ill-equipped because this dude put up 100 and or you know $500 into the game total. You know, and he just got all this crazy stuff, and you know, there you are, not as powered up, and you just get smoked. You know, like it's crazy. We already spending 60, $70 on these games as is, and then we got to pay for you know, we got to pay for the extra content as well. Like, come on, man. Yo, Deku
Sure.
Smash was kind of dumb though. I ain't gonna lie. I seen a lot of people get quote unquote outplayed by that. I ain't even gonna lie.
But overall, it's a whole greed tactic. I mean, because the gaming industry has been making more money than they've ever seen ever, and it's like I don't know why they think that doing more of these live services is going to help grow that for them. I don't think that's the move. I don't think that's the right move for them to try to push forward and going forward. It's,
Hmm. Well, I mean, we'll just have to see how they do it going forward. But right now, it's not looking good, man. I really hope that they can turn this around, but man, I just don't know. Like, we'll just have to see and monitor things closely. Like, even Suicide Squad, I was gonna get it because most of y'all were gonna get it, but now I'm like, man, I don't know, bruh. I don't know now. I don't know. Like, I already got Gotham Knights and Avengers, so I don't want to do this a third time. Like, I just don't. Even though I do prefer DC, I like DC more. You know, I really like the characters, but I just really don't want to do that again. I've done it twice. I'm good.
Yeah,
But
I got a lot of service games I don't want to add in my inventory. It's too much already. That's too much.
right. You already got to put enough time into it in the first place, you know, into whatever game you want to play that is live service in the first place to keep up with everything, you know, and it's just hard to stay committed when it's oversaturating the market because then another one's going to come out and another one and another one. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this discussion. It's been an hour. I think we got out the major key points we wanted to. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. All right, I think that's it. That'll do for the YouTube video. But god damn, we've been doing it for an hour, but PlayStation only lets you record up to the last 30 minutes. Man, I got
No,
whole.
PlayStation lets you to do an hour.
Nah, I definitely did say recent gameplay, and that joint goes only up to 30 minutes.
No, you got to hit full video.
Oh.